We're back with our roundtable columnist for the Wall Street Journal, Kim Strassel, author of the book Revival 2.0, How the Obama White House is Making Its Political Comeback, Richard Wolff, Democratic Mayor of Atlanta, Kasim Reed, and Republican strategist and Time Magazine columnist Mike Murphy. Welcome to all of you. And Mayor Reed, I was reminded on Twitter this morning, it was your birthday, was it not? On Friday? Happy birthday.
No,
Glad to have you come up here and spend the birthday weekend on Meet the Press. Thanks so much. Mayor Reed, the other big story, of course, Anthony Weiner, and you heard from Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Look, there's only so much we can do here to try to push him out of office. He's hanging in. How much is this distracting Democrats from doing real business, the real business of fixing the economy, which is what's going to weigh so heavily?
It's very bad for Democrats. I believe that the congressman should resign so we can move on. I mean, the fact of the matter is Democrats were doing very well on the Medicare conversation. Paul Ryan had really given the Democrats a great deal of momentum. They had a good win in New York, and now who's talking about that at all? So I think that we need to move on. I think he's been a great public servant, but we have, the stakes are just too high. We need to be talking about jobs, jobs, jobs. That's not happening right now. We're having a conversation about the Congress.
You're out there on the front lines as mayor of a big southern city in Atlanta. And The Economist magazine and this headline has got to resonate with you as you look at it. Here's Barack Obama, the president, looming large over what a lot of people think is a small Republican field. And yet, the headline is, and yet I could still lose. I don't have to tell you these numbers, but I'm going to tell the audience. Unemployment in Atlanta, 9.7%, well above the national average. For the state of Georgia, it's 9.9%. African-American unemployment nationally, over 16%. The president is vulnerable.
Yeah, I agree that he's vulnerable, but I think that the argument that he's going to make is direction. People need to remember that right now we're not spending $750 million, or the president isn't spending money communicating his message. He needs to stay out there, stay in the fight. He'll be in North Carolina next week, and he needs to constantly communicate. The area that I believe that the president really needs to grow, and I think he is growing, is the level of empathy. The fact of the matter is this is tough. It's going to be a tough campaign, but he's got to get out there and he's got to constantly let folks know that he genuinely cares about how much they're hurting, and he's got to lay out in a concrete fashion every single thing that he's done. He's got to constantly talk about what he did to save the automobile industry. I mean, I can't believe this story is going by like it is. GM and Chrysler are coming out of it having strong performance. There were 1 million jobs on the line before the president took extraordinary action. He's got to talk about that more. He's got to talk about it everywhere he goes. The good thing about this president is he doesn't get too high, he doesn't get too low. If you look at this program a few weeks ago after bin Laden was killed, everybody was talking about who was running against him. Then the job report came out, and then all of a sudden Mitt Romney's ahead for God.
On our Facebook page as well, some feedback from our debate with the chairs of the parties. I think they both need to remove the shroud of their party's doctrine and look through the eyes of common American citizens. We're struggling out here while they continue to play king of the hill games. It is interesting how much of a lack of confidence is there outside Washington in what Washington is doing.
It's extremely high because we can't get a deal done on critical issues such as the debt ceiling and such as job creation. And folks at home, they completely get it, and they're very frustrated about it. And I think just as the Democrats paid a high price, Republicans are going to pay a very high price for not focusing on job creation.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Also, the big thing coming up this week is that Republican debate. They're second. It'll be up in New Hampshire. We'll be watching that to see if there's an important takeaway, part of the upcoming events that we'll look for this week. That is all for today. Thanks to a terrific roundtable. We'll be back next week. If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.